Hi, welcome everyone for the episode 7 of How Languages Connects People. Here at Tech Translations, we love languages and people and how they can grow, interact, and evolve while using different languages. As always, our interviewer and host of this series, CEO and founder of Tech Translations Inc., Sean Patrick Hopwood, will be interviewing guests connected to languages and to translation and interpreting world. On this 7th episode, we will be speaking with Miss Melany de Leva. Melany is a blogger, translator, and Spanish teacher from Mar de la Plata, Argentina. She graduated as a translator, but discovered her true passion is teaching Spanish. Melany teaches her native language online to students from all over the world through her website and blog Easy Argentine Spanish. She is also an ambassador for us at Day Translations. Thank you, Melany, for being with us. And
Thank
nice
you
to
so
see
much.
you. And now I'm
Thank you.
passing the mic over to you, Sean.
Thank you very much, Alejandra. So it's very nice. Oh, Melanie, you there?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So it's very nice to meet you, Melanie. I have seen that you've been working with us as an ambassador and teaching people, and on your own teaching people about the Spanish language. Um, what got you into speaking Spanish? You have a very nice, history, and it seems like you really have a deep appreciation for linguistics. So, what got you into teaching Spanish? Is that one of your passions, or is that your biggest passion? What got you into it?
It is one of my biggest passions. And it all started when I traveled to the US to work at a Mexican restaurant in Colorado. And the menu, there were lots of words in Spanish that the waiters could not pronounce.
Yeah.
And some of them couldn't even understand what they were reading. So there was also a division in the kitchen between Spanish speaking people who were mostly like the bussers and the cooks and the waiters who spoke only English. So I thought, how can we work as a team if we fail to communicate with one another? So
Mhm.
that inspired me to become a Spanish teacher. I wanted to bridge the gap and break the language barriers.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I didn't work in a Spanish restaurant, but I was a waiter for 4 years at a restaurant called Perkins in the United States, and it's very interesting because, like you said, Colorado, or when you say Spanish words in English, do you feel like you should say them in Spanish accent or not? Because we have, like, here, Montana. Should we say montaña? Should we say Colorado? Should we say Nevada? You know, I was having a discussion with someone from Nevada, and he said it's Nevada, and that's how they actually. I think that's how they prefer to pronounce it there, and so it's interesting because sometimes it sounds. I felt like people think I sound a little bit pretentious whenever I say things in the proper accent, like Barcelona, So, what is your take on that? Do you usually just pronounce it a Spanish word in Spanish
I try
accent?
to I try to pronounce it the way that it's pronounced in the country.
Yeah,
Because, for example, it happens a lot with brands,
yeah,
and there's the brand, for example, Colgate, and we call it Colgate. And
yeah,
for me, it's never natural to say Colgate. But if I was in a English-speaking country, then I would say it that way,
yeah.
Colgate. Because they would not understand me if I say Colgate.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what you do, and that's what I do. We really work with cultures, and you have to understand, like, the culture, and even regionally in different parts of the country, they could be pronouncing things in a different way. So yeah, we could say, they could say soda in the north, they could say Coke in the south, because we say Coke for everything. If it's Pepsi, we call it Coke.
Yes.
That's it's different ways of speaking. So yeah, that's a good thing to bring up about how people say things a little bit differently in different ways. So you have a lot of students all around the world?
Yes, I do. Actually, what my students do is book a lesson with me for an hour or 2 hours a week. And this is all online. So my students come from different countries such as South Africa, Belgium, the United States, Canada. And that's actually the best part of the job, which is that I am here to teach you about my country and my language, but I get to learn a lot about my students'
Yeah,
countries as well.
That's great. And what do you feel about the level of interest that people have in the Spanish language? And what are the reasons that they want to learn it? Most of the top two or three reasons you think they want to learn Spanish.
Wow. The top three reasons I would say are first, travel. Lots of people travel to South America. It's a dream to go there, to get to know the place, to explore new landscapes. And number two would be love, because I had lots of students who wanted to learn Spanish because they had a girlfriend or a boyfriend from Argentina and they wanted to talk to their families in Spanish. So that
Yeah.
would be number two. And number three would be um, just to learn a new language and to be able to communicate in different countries. There's
Or
22
sometimes
countries that
business purposes,
were,
maybe too.
yes, as well, yes. And maybe not so much in Argentina now, but because of the economy and it's not very convenient to go work there. But yes, it could be one of the reasons. Yes.
Yeah. Didn't Michael Bublé fall in love with an Argentinian woman?
Yes, it's Luisana Lopilato. She's a famous Argentinian, actually. She's an actress. Yes.
Oh, I wonder, did he learn Spanish?
He had to, I guess. I think he learned Spanish eventually, and she had to learn English as well, because when they met, they couldn't speak to one another.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I have never heard him speaking Spanish before, but I want to check that out because I'm a big fan of Michael Bublé. I love his music, so yeah, I gotta check that out. And I heard another song by him recently. He was doing more of like a tango type of song. It was pretty interesting. It came out
Oh,
like maybe 6 or 7 months ago. It was pretty cool.
oh, that's great. I
And
don't know if he
I didn't
sings
think
in
of it at the
Spanish,
moment.
but
Yeah, it wasn't in Spanish, but I didn't think of it at the moment, but now it just popped into my head. That's probably because of his wife's influence that he did a little tango in his song. So.
yeah, there's many celebrities who are dating Argentinians, like Matt Damon and Al Pacino.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that, but I really want to go to Argentina. I really would like to go. Yeah, I know they like even like there's yeah my friend went and she said that she got on the subway there and that's pretty cool. I would like to do that. And I play football with Argentinians every Monday, and I get the accent. I hear the accent all the time. I love it, and I hear the different words and everything. But I grew up. I live in Florida, so most of the time the Spanish you hear is either Cuban or Colombian or Puerto Rican. So it's really nice to hear that Argentine Spanish. I like it a lot.
Yes, it's a quite unique accent.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because I know it's a mix of like more like Italian, Spanish, and German people, or is it something else?
Well, the accent sounds more like Italian. It's like a
Yeah,
song, especially in Buenos Aires, because there are different accents around the country. But in Buenos Aires, it goes more towards the Italian sound.
yeah,
And when you go south, there's a lot of German descent, but the accent is not really influenced by that. The accent
yeah,
was more influenced by Italians who came from the south of Italy. Also, the gestures, you will see me that I do a lot of
yeah.
gestures. That's because of of that.
Yeah, and one thing that I always wondered, like, how did they, like, how you say "yo me llamo"? Like, where did they get the show me llamo? Like, how did that happen? Do you know, like that
That's
where that
called
comes from?
sheismo. Sheismo.
Oh, I
It's
didn't even
not.
know that word.
Yeah, it's not really clear how we got it,
Yeah,
but it's a lot of history there. Like it's just like vos, which is a pronoun that we use instead of tu.
yeah,
There's a lot of history coming from when the Spaniards came to America and colonized, and everything spread, and every country ended up speaking a different version of Spanish. And I'm not really sure why we do the sheísmo, but it stayed only in Buenos Aires and Montevideo in Uruguay. So if you go to Uruguay, you'll hear that too. Es
yeah,
yo me llamo.
yeah. And they're right across from the river from each other, right? Montevideo and Buenos
Yes.
Aires. Yeah,
That's why our Spanish variant is called Español Río Platense. Río Platense is
Rio
from
Platense.
El Río de la Plata, which is that river. It's the widest river in the world.
Okay. And speaking of de Plata, are you a football fan of River Plate or who are you a fan of?
Boca
Boca Juniors.
Juniors.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really watch soccer a lot, but when I was a kid, my dad would always tell me, "You're from Boca. Just say that."
Yeah.
But
I would
it's
love.
really popular soccer in Argentina. It's a passion
Yeah.
for Argentinians.
Yeah, I just went to a football game between Chelsea and Arsenal here in Florida in Orlando, and that was great. But if I had the opportunity to see like River Plate versus Boca Juniors, that would be a huge thing for me. I'm a big football fan, so yeah, I love it. But so do you speak any other languages besides Spanish and English?
I do. I speak a little bit of Italian, mostly because I learned at school and at home because all my grandparents were Italian. But mostly I learned the curse words like
Oh, yeah.
scemo, which means stupid, or stunato, it's a crazy person.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, and yeah, I and your name is Italian, Di Leva.
Di Leva,
Oh,
yes.
Di Leva.
From Napoli, Italy,
Oh,
yes.
Napoli. Sounds nice. Very nice. So, working as an ambassador for Day Translations, how has that been for you, and how is it to work with our team, and how has your experience been with that?
It's been fantastic. I mean, when I first read the word ambassador, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah,
But everyone's been so nice to me, especially Alejandra. And it's been really easy to work with the team. I'm so, so grateful for this opportunity. And the best part is that I get to write about what I love, which is translation, languages, and, well, food and travel as well.
yeah, yeah. I was going to speak about that. Are your other passions are what? Food and travel, or
Yes,
any?
I do.
Okay.
I travel a lot.
Oh, really? How many countries have you been to?
Oh, I don't know, more than 20, I think.
Yeah, I've only been to like 7. I traveled a lot in college, and then I just after I started working, I just didn't do as much as I wish I had. I hope to get back up again. I want to go to China. Have you ever been to China?
No.
Okay, I want to go to China, Korea. I want to make the trip to like China, Korea, and Taiwan and Japan.
Oh,
Hopefully,
nice.
it would be a long
I
trip though, to try to go to 4 countries at once. Yeah,
I would love to go there as well. That's in my future plans. Yes. I
yeah.
don't speak any Chinese though. I should learn, though it's really difficult, they say.
It is. I've been almost 2 years learning Chinese now, and I'm still got a long way to go, but it's very nice. So yeah, it's the same thing. Like you have people seeking you out and trying to learn Spanish. I'm doing the same thing with Chinese. I go online and I go on and I find online teachers and I take classes usually twice a week. So it's cool. What do you? I think Spanish is one of the most important languages in the world. I think definitely Chinese. What other ones would you think are pretty important for people who want to grow their business and expand? Like for example, what we do, we help people translate. We also help people learn languages and stuff like that. So if you think about like what would be a good language for people who want to expand their business, make more money, if they have a website they want to translate or anything like that, what are some other languages you think might be pretty important?
Well, I think Portuguese would be very important. I think if you want to grow your business, I would try to target Brazilians and people from Portugal. I think that would be a
Yeah,
good choice. And especially if you already are targeting people from who speak Spanish and at least in Latin America and Brazil, Brazil is part of Latin America, and there's a big connection between us. So I think I would target that type of that language. Yes, Portuguese, and
yeah,
yes, and other than that, to expand your business, I think maybe you should. Uh, of course, depending on your business, but I would go with French or German. I think I would love to learn those languages too.
Definitely, yeah. Basically all languages are pretty important. Yeah, I even like the small ones, but yeah, you can if you get Portuguese, French, and German, that's a large chunk of the population.
Yes.
um, so I understand you like to cook, or you like to just travel and eat, or what is your passion about food?
Oh, it's mostly to eat, not to cook.
Okay,
No, I love cooking at home with my family. And I've created this material of recipes for students where I tell them all about the Argentine Italian food that we eat at home. I
yeah,
think it's great to share what we do with my family. In my family, food has always played an important role because it brings us together and we can share a moment together and have great memories. So I thought it would be interesting to share with my students the type of food we eat and how to cook it. And that way they can also learn about Spanish grammar, for example, the imperative, which is the commands that you usually read in a recipe.
yeah. Very nice, very nice. And I was noticing that too. And it's culture is so ingrained in you. I'm I'm very cultural. I love languages, but I'm also very American. And like I told you, I play football with these Argentinians on Mondays, and we usually have a asado. They almost have it every time after the game. And in the beginning, I would go and I would just like, I don't know if I want to stay and eat. I have a lot of work to do and everything like that. And then little by little, I got to realize it's more like it's the food is delicious. It's usually steak and chimichurri sauce, but it's also very much of a bonding experience. You talk to your friends, you spend quality time with each other, you enjoy each other's company, and little by little I learned to do that instead of just getting up and going after the game. So it's it's really nice to learn about other cultures, and I've tried my best to do that with a lot of different cultures. Chinese culture, Japanese culture, French, German. Everyone has their own little nuances to learn, and I try to be more like a chameleon and learn as much as I can. Even though I do have my very American culture too, and living in Florida, where I live, you get to you get to experience that as well. A lot of interesting things about our culture. So yeah, I'm my whole life I've been crazy about culture. I've been very passionate about it. So it's definitely something I love.
That's
And I notice,
fantastic.
yeah, I notice a lot of people engage with your food recipes. You say you like to travel and eat different foods. In Argentina, is there a lot of diverse types of food?
Well, I say yes because, for example, if you go to Buenos Aires, you see more the Italian and Spanish influence, and then when you go south to Patagonia, you see more of Swedish, and you see more German style food. And yes, there's a big variety of things to try. There's so much to try. There's delicious food. It's fantastic. What I recommend is if you are in Buenos Aires, try the Buenos Aires pizza. It's nothing like other pizzas in the world. It's different, not necessarily the best, but it's different and it's good to try it. Then we have pastries that are delicious. We have this thing called alfajor made with dulce de leche. You probably know what dulce de leche is by now. If you're hanging
Yeah,
out with Argentinians, we're
yeah,
addicted to it. And alfajor is like two cookies with dulce de leche inside. It's covered in chocolate. So that's like the that's the pastry that we eat
that
for any
sounds
occasion,
delicious.
basically. Yeah. And then if you go south, you'll see Welsh cake. And you think, why is the Welsh cake here? But it's because the Welsh have several colonies in the south in Patagonia. And you'll see places where you can get goulash with spetzel, like in Bariloche, which is a famous city where people go skiing in Argentina, and lots of goulash with spetzel there. And
Where
that
is
comes
goulash
from,
from?
I think it's from Hungary.
Hungry. Yeah, I was gonna say I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. I wasn't know
Yeah.
either one. I'm hungry. Yeah, that's wonderful. I love different types of food. We in Tampa we have pretty diverse food as well, and like other places like San Francisco, I've been. There's lots of good diverse types of food. I hear Toronto in Canada is also pretty diverse. So there's a lot of good stuff. But for a medium-sized town like where I live, it's pretty good. It's pretty nice. Yeah, so yeah. So how long have you been teaching Spanish online?
I've been teaching since 2018.
Okay. And do you have any very interesting stories or any surprising stories you have about when you've been teaching online?
Yes, actually, I have a lot of them, But I think the most interesting one, and for me at least, is how I met my fiance through language teaching.
Oh,
Um, he wanted to improve his Spanish, and we would talk once a week online. And then we started talking more and more. And then one day we decided we're going to stop doing the Spanish lessons because there's so much chemistry between us. And
yeah,
we decided we wanted to meet in person. And we scheduled a trip for May 2020. And the pandemic then
yeah,
happened. So everything got postponed. And we kept talking online, having this long distance relationship until one day Mexico opened its borders in October 2020, and we met in Cancun, and we've been together ever since.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Hey, make me emotional. That's very wonderful. That's beautiful. What year did you meet him in Mexico?
2020.
Oh,
So
okay.
and I met him for the first time online in 2019. So we basically talked online for a year.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm happy about that. So that's great. So yeah, and now you're how many students do you have more or less now?
So now, because I'm traveling again, I am not teaching one-on-one lessons anymore, but I teach through my website, Easy Argentine Spanish, where people can subscribe, and I send them weekly emails with all the information about Argentina and the Spanish variant that we speak.
Okay. And so where are you traveling to next?
So right now I'm in Spain. I actually arrived here a
You're in
week
Spain?
ago. Yes,
Oh,
I'm in Seville right now. It's quite hot here. and
yeah. I was in Spain
uh,
before. I was in Madrid, and then I got invited to a party in Sevilla, but I didn't go. Yeah, I
well,
was enjoying Madrid too much. I didn't want to go.
well, next time you should come. It's really beautiful here. I was surprised by, I call it Sevilla, by Sevilla. It's a beautiful city. It's just got so much to offer, and mostly the architecture here is just stunning.
Yeah. So yeah. So whenever you're there, do you call it Sevilla or Sevilla?
Well, if I speak to someone from Spain, I try to say it with a Sevilla, but
It slips out sometimes.
naturally it just comes out as Sevilla, and people just ask me, "Oh, you're from Argentina or Uruguay?"
Okay.
Yes.
That's cool. That's cool. And so
I,
you're gonna
I,
go more places now?
well, actually, we're finishing next in the next city is Madrid, and then we're going back to Argentina.
Okay. Madrid es la ciudad.
Ah,
That's what they always used to say in Madrid when I was there. I don't know why.
ah,
Madrid es la ciudad.
it'll be my first time, so
Yeah.
I
That's
hope it is.
nice. I love that. That's very nice. So and then you're going back to Argentina after that?
Yes, I have a nephew coming to the world, so I want to go meet him. Then we'll have a wedding, and then we'll go to Mexico again.
Oh, nice. And where was
Yes,
the last country you've been to?
Portugal. We were there for 3 weeks. Also, it was a mind-opening experience. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about Portuñol, which
Okay.
is a combination of Portuguese and Espanol, Portuguese Espanol, and it's amazing. I would go there and speak Spanish, and they would understand everything I said. But then when they speak Portuguese to me, it's really hard for me to understand what they're saying. And apparently, this happens to everyone, or mostly everyone who speaks Spanish. We have a harder time understanding Portuguese than the Portuguese understand our Spanish. But of
I
course,
think
it
that's
was
true.
easy to speak English there. It's just that was
Yeah.
way easier for me. Mhm.
Yeah, I have some Brazilian friends, and I speak to them in Spanish. They said just speak to me in Spanish, and I'm like, you're gonna understand me? and they do. They just understand me, and they speak to me in Portuguese, and I understand maybe like, 30% of what they say, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that happened to me. Yes, I actually had to go to a doctor, and the doctor only spoke Portuguese. And well, we spoke slowly, and we could understand one another. But she
Yeah.
understood me better than I could understand her. I would always ask her to repeat, please, because
Yeah.
it's very interesting, and it's a something that I would like to study more. That Portuñol.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know much about Portuñol, but that's pretty cool. I know that I've heard, like, when I see Marcelo, the footballer, when I see him playing Real Madrid, he speaks like Portuñol, and Cristiano Ronaldo speaks like Portuñol maybe, but he's been there so long that I think his Spanish is pretty good.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I guess I keep talking about football. Sorry, I'm just crazy about it. So yeah, so. What is do you have a favorite word or a favorite poet or a favorite poem? It doesn't have to be in Spanish, but if it is in Spanish, what would be your favorite? One of the favorite things about your language, a favorite poem or something like that.
I have a favorite quote. It's related to language learning or to education in general. It's actually by Benjamin Franklin. And it says, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn." And I feel like it's so true, especially when it comes to language learning. The more you get involved with the culture and the people who speak this language, it's the more you learn and the more you grow and open your mind.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And do you find that the more you teach, the more you learn actually yourself?
Yes, all the time. Yes, especially when I had all these students from all over the world, and I still keep in touch with most of them. And
Yeah.
I learn about the way of living in their countries and how their culture is different from mine, and even things like, for example, I'm very informal because in Argentina we're super informal and we do a lot of gesticulation and
Yeah.
uh, and it's like there's so many differences with other cultures, and it's great. I love learning that, and for me, I've grown a lot since I started teaching languages. I've grown a lot, really.
Yeah, that's true. Like, even like in your own language, when someone asks you, why do you say it like that? You don't know why. And you're like, oh gosh, now I have to think about why I say it like that. And then you get
Yeah.
deep into the etymology and the history of the word. And that's happened to me too before. So yeah, that's very beautiful.
Yes, that's happened to me, and that's why I decided to keep teaching Spanish, because I used to teach English as well, um, but it wasn't as challenging. When you start teaching Spanish, people ask you question, why is it el programa and not la programa? And then I had to learn that, oh, so programa and sistema and idioma, these are words that come from a Greek origin, and that's why they are masculine. And
Oh,
before
I
that, I
didn't know,
didn't know. I
I didn't
had
know
no
that
idea.
either.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. That's very nice. See, I love learning these new things. I love doing these interviews. So what are your goals for the future?
So, in the near future, I would like to launch my first podcast for Spanish students. I bought this microphone, I got it last week. So, I'm really excited, and I'm
Sounds
learning
good.
right now about recording. And yes, I'm very excited.
Okay, so you're gonna start doing. You have not done your first podcast yet?
No, I got the microphone last week and I've been testing it for a week.
Oh, well, if you need a guest, let me know. I'll be one.
Oh, yes. Thank you. That would be awesome.
Yeah. And but the website people can visit you as Argentine,
EasyArgentineSpanish.com.
easyargentinespanish.com. And is there any other way you would like people to contact you, or anything else you would like to tell us about, anything that you feel like is important for us to know about you?
Um, well, you can follow me on Instagram and see my stories every week. I post the word of the week, which is a slang word from Argentina, in case you want to know more about our slang called el lunfardo. And basically
Oh,
that, yes, you can contact me on Instagram or search for my website. And if you subscribe, you'll get lots of info about Spanish and travel, food, and in the culture. Yeah, Latin
that's
American
great.
culture.
And they're both called Easy Argentine Spanish,
Yes.
Instagram and the website. Great.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for appearing, and thank you for your wonderful information. I've learned about 4 or 5 new things, and thank you for everything you've done with us in our company. And I really hope that we both can continue to grow together. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
Thank you,
thank you so
Melanie.
much for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. And see you guys on the next podcast.
All right.